I think people need to realize there's a very big difference between, praising someone who has no control over what's currently happening at Marvel and DC or in the adaptations, and, who just so happens to be problematic, versus praising someone who is actively contributing to the harm of brown people in comic book spaces and who has influence over the movies and the comics currently. All this to say, fuck Grant Morrison. Welcome back to another episode of Last Week in Comics, where I talk about the last week in comics. And I just wanted to say, really sucks that Peter David had to, his family is still currently running a GoFundMe to help pay for funeral expenses, despite the fact that Marvel made $1 billion off of his ideas. You can have your opinions about the man from, he was a little bit racist standpoint, but it's still immensely fucked that both studios, really, but mostly Marvel, were allowed to just fuck over this man so badly. And I really hate that this is continuing to happen, and this is continuing to happen even after, it's very public knowledge what happened with Jack Kirby, what happened to Bill Finger, what happens to so many comic book writers and artists. I hate that this is still a conversation we're having. That is to say, if you really like something in a comic book, look up whatever artist or writer is currently doing that series and go support their indie works. They tend to make a lot more profit based off of that. I do it all the time with, Ryan North has his book series, Drew Wilson has indie projects. Pretty much almost every single comic book writer / artist has some sort of indie project or some earlier work that you can support. Anyway, rant over, we're done with that. Let's go into the books I actually read this week, starting off with the new number 1 this week, Mr. Terrific Year 1. I only know Mr. Terrific from JSA, which is, it's debatable if that's the best place to know who Mr. Terrific is. It is this version's, first introduction into the post-crisis era of comics, but it doesn't really do enough to highlight him. So I'm really glad that we are getting a more definitive book for people to check out before his debut in the Superman movie. This is a case of good synergy. I talked about it in my TikTok review, but, when comic book fans are talking about, not wanting synergy, stuff like this is fine. Bluebeard Graduation Day being greenlit because Jaime has a movie out to kind of reestablish the character for older fans and then create a new starting off point for new fans. That's perfect. That is the correct way to do synergy. The incorrect way is fundamentally changing a character so that they are unrecognizable to their original audience, and also maybe fetish material for white people. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But this is, again, good case of synergy. I'm really glad that we're getting a nice starting off point for Mr. Terrific. Mostly because, again, most of his stuff is team books, which, when most of your appearances are team books, it's kind of hard to really, establish yourself. I think probably the best place he did it was the Terrifics. But even then, I don't think that that's a easy starting off point for anyone. Although, I do hope that it does get reprinted with the Superman movie coming out, because I do know that, what they're doing in the Superman movie is basically the Terrifics. James Gunn, get on that. I don't know if he actually runs it. So this book is essentially kind of set to reestablish Mr. Terrific's origin, put in more of a streamlined, more direct way instead of what I think was previously done was it being told mostly through, really brief snippets, as the title Year 1 suggests, which I think is great. I think it's great to do that with a character who's mostly relegated to teen books, just because it just helps reestablish everything. Also, what we found out is that this is the only black-led book at DC right now. DC, what the actual fuck? What do you mean? The second best we can do is Green Lantern Corps, which first off, John's not even really, like, the consistent main character of that one. And second off, it is written by a white man. And Absolute Green Lantern's the same fucking problem. What is with Green Lantern? You know, you have Jo as the established character, but again, she's being written by a white man. Fuck Al Ewing. And second off, like, she's having to share the spotlight with Hal constantly. Jesus Christ, DC. You have Milestone, and even Milestone's not releasing any ongoings right now. Or minis. What the fuck? Yeah, no, I think the writer of Mr. Terrific is the only black writer at DC right now. I don't think I can think of another one. Jesus fucking Christ. That is kind of the thing I've had to learn going from mostly talking about Marvel to mostly talking about DC. Actually, no, neither of them really have, like, people of color writers anymore. We are slowly sliding into fascism, and it's terrifying. Comic book spaces are not, like, they're not good for brown fans right now. I'm really hoping that this book gets the Blue Beetle graduation day treatment, and this spins off into a full ongoing for Mr. Terrific. From what I've been seeing online, the reviews have all seemed to be positive, from both new fans of Mr. Terrific to people who understand him more as an established character. And so, yeah, I want to have a win. I know I rag on, like, watching adaptations all the time. That's because, personally, I don't like them. However, in the case of, like, hey, guess what? This obscure character now has a new ongoing because he's going to be in a movie. I say obscure character in quotes. But, like, you know, this character is going to get a new ongoing, or a new mini because a movie's coming out. I'm alright with that. Hell, I'm even kind of okay when characters get, like, re-up to number 1 when a movie comes out. Except if you're, like, 33 issues in and then you decide to randomly do a new one, number 1. And now I'm terrified because this is the only good book at your company. And I really don't want it to get canceled. Definitely not talking about another thing that comes out in July. Absolute Wonder Woman issue 8 came out. We are kind of going into a new arc, so to say. No, we are going into a new arc. What am I talking about? Two big things that this comic establishes. Veronica Cale is essentially keeping Dr. Poison as, like, a sort of scientist. She is kind of trapped in that suit. And trapped under the foot of Veronica Cale. We also see, like, Diana and the rest of the... I'm gonna call them the Wonder Gang, but you know who I'm talking about. Etta and her sister, Barbara, and Steve.
I am Steve.
And Steve! We see them establishing a home base, the Wonder Dome. No, I don't remember the actual name of it. I like calling it the Wonder Dome because it does look like a sports arena. It's not anything on the artist. I'm really glad that the artist who was also responsible for the first couple issues of Absolute Wonder Woman, I'm really glad that the artist, Sherman, really glad that they're back on this book. He does, like that's just what the Wonder Dome looks like. It looks like a sports arena. So they're establishing a home base. Wonder Woman's doing a lot more, like, general superhero things. Because as Scott Snyder has said in multiple interviews, Wonder Woman is kind of the one who's going to be the first to reestablish, like, the Justice League. Or that, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that's basically what he said. Like, she's going to be kind of the first one to start doing actual superhero work. Real superhero work. I don't know what Absolute Batman's deal is. I haven't been reading it. We also see the first interaction between Dr. Poison, who is this, like, gas creature thing, and Wonder Woman, where Dr. Poison says, I know where you can find an Amazon. Okay? Which can mean a lot of things. So, this is where the speculation comes in. Because, for those of you who are probably not as familiar with Wonder Woman's lore, which is apparently a lot of people, Themyscira isn't the only island that contains Amazons. You have the Wild Isles, which I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. That's where Nubia is from. You have the Bongo Mall Amazons, which is where Artemis comes from. And then you have Yara Flor's tribe. I forgot what their thing is, but also I think that we should ignore them for right now because There's a lot of problems with them until the writers actually get a Brazilian on that book to properly de-racist Yara, like Yara Flor's entire existence. Then we should just ignore her for now. So, obviously, you know, with the Bangamal Amazons and the Wild Isle Amazons, there is a decent chance that that is what they're referring to, that either we're going to, we're either going to get Nubia, and I really hope it's Nubia, like I'm putting all my chips on it being Nubia, but there is also a decent chance that we get Artemis. There is also, on top of that, a decent chance that Dr. Poison is referring to Cassie Sandsmark, who, again, is a non-Themysciran Amazon. Like, she's on Earth. She's in the United States. Or it's Donna Troy. I don't know what origin that they would do for Donna, but, like, it could be her. I don't fucking know. I know that, like, Stax speculated to me privately, but I know that it could be Hippolyta, but, like, I don't think it is Hippolyta. Because, again, I feel like adding another mother to Wonder Woman will kind of overcomplicate things and, like, make it bad. Really, again, my money's on it being Nubia, because I would assume that if Diana was taken from the Amazons before, you know, they got slaughtered, before they all got killed, I would assume that the same thing happened to Nubia. Especially because that is a part of Nubia's origin. So I'm really hoping that we get the two sisters. I don't really see it being anyone else outside of, like, Nubia and Cassie. I feel like Artemis visually is too similar to the absolute version of Diana, that it's not likely to be her, and also because a lot of people don't consider a Wonder Woman character anymore. Thanks a lot, Redhead. My money's on Nubia or Cassie. I think Cassie's better to establish, like, way later down the line, like, after the book's been going for, like, a year or two. Nubia, however, can come in right now, and I would have no objections. None whatsoever. Kelly Thompson is single-handedly carrying the Wonder Woman brand right now. Fuck Tom King. Fire his ass. Next up on books that I've actually been following, The Absolute Martian Mindfucker. This is what I'm calling it. This is what it is. I never know how to describe Absolute Martian Manhunter. I read it and my brain has trouble, I don't have trouble processing it from, like, a story perspective. It's very, very basic. So we're kind of seeing the establishment of the relationship between John Jones and the Martian, where we kind of see as John is saving people, the Martian is able to kind of, like, battle their inner turmoil, or if anything's, like, controlling him, he's fighting on the mind side while, you know, John Jones is actively saving these individuals in the physical space, which I think is really cool and interesting. I think that this is a fun dynamic. I'm a big fan of Alias. I'm like Alias's, like, number one defender, maybe number two, depending on if Daystar wants to fight people on Twitter. I really love characters who can exist in the world of superheroes without being superheroes themselves. Which is why I'm probably really enjoying Martian Mindfucker. When I fucking read this book, my mind just goes, holy shit. Like, Javier Rodriguez's art does a really nice job of popping, like, these two realities, having them have this nice contrast, where you see, like, again, the inner turmoil is kind of done by that, like, rainbow style that we've been seeing on the cover a lot for Absolute Martian Manhunter, while the actual character is in more of a, like grittier style. I don't... Just fucking read this book. I don't know how to describe it well. Just read it. It does seem like we are getting closer to finding out what the fuck the White Martian's deal was. As, like, everyone who's, like, getting, like, mind control has, like, this cloud of, like, smoke around their eyes. And they're burning down their houses, which is crazy. I guess this Martian mindfucker, he's not allergic to fire, like the same way that John Jones is. I wonder if John Jones is like a sleeper agent for the Martians. Again, Martian Manhunter is one of the most visually distinctive books that DC has right now. I honestly think you just need to read it. You just need to fucking read it. I say this, like, I think that you should read every book I talk about for yourself and form your own opinions. But, like, this one especially, I just need you to read it. I can't, like, this is the second best Absolute book. Again, Absolute Wonder Woman's been more, like, it's more, like, established, but, like, Martian Manhunter is, like, getting pretty close up there. I like it better than pretty much every other Absolute book that's out except for Absolute Wonder Woman. So I really do recommend you check it out. Superhero comics, my beloved. Every single time I read this book, it is an absolute mindfuck. Like, I have to look at it to, like, truly grasp how fucking amazing it is. I love Javier Rodriguez, so this is completely biased opinion, but he is one of the best artists that DC has right now. Drawing superheroes as regular people, like, is my favorite. That's my shit right there. Now, there's two books I kind of, like, scrolled through. I didn't really want to read them. Obviously, one of them is Justice League Unlimited #7. I think the series is alright. I, again, think it's trying to do too much, and I think it gets most personified to me that they are trying to do too much and forgetting that certain characters exist. With the fact that fucking Hal Jordan's weird cousin Airwave is now rescuing the Justice League from time problems. And Gorilla Grodd is now, like, he's got, like, I'm gonna call it the Omega virus, but, you know, the thing that we saw Maxwell Lord have in New Gods, you know, that kind of, like, call of Darkseid. And again, this is the continuation of the We Are Yesterday thing. I'm sorry, I have a poster of Time Masters 1990, like, right fucking behind me. Where the fuck are they? I understand if, like, Rip can't do anything, because if he steps back into the timeline, he is probably going to be, like, erased from existence since he is Booster Gold's son. But, like, what about the rest of them? I'm sorry, I don't think that a character named fucking Airwave should be the one to be dealing with time shit. I understand that Wade likes... I guess he wants, like, a easy insert for the audience, but, like, there's so many other, like, young heroes, specifically young heroes who deal with time shit, I think would be more interesting. I know I don't want Jaime to get too connected to Booster Gold / the Time Master / really anything having to do with Ted Kord, but, again, Jaime's right there. Jaime was in this fucking book. He's dealt with time shit. I don't think it's outside of his wheelhouse, especially with Ted still there. It's bad to be a Time Masters fan right now. Like, yeah, sure, it's bad to be a Booster Gold fan. Oh, he's about to, like, get, like, a big event dedicated to it. He's about to get, like, an entire mini dedicated to him. Where the fuck are the Time Masters? That is also the other thing. Like, if we really needed, like, a young hero to, like, deal with time shit, did Stargirl? Did we forget? I know you didn't forget about Stargirl: The Lost Children, because, like, that entire book was about time shit. Or, well, no, you didn't forget about Stargirl: The Lost Children because Airwave was reestablished in that book. I can't believe we're getting to a time where I want to ask, where is Corky? With my favorite Time Master book being the one where he hangs himself. I don't know. Go read Justice League Red instead. I'm so fucking hyped for Justice League Red! Okay, and then in other books that I scrolled through, I did not read in their entirety because, Jesus Christ, why would I read this? Green Lantern, issue 23 by Jeremy Adams. Why is Dan Garrett there? Like, Dan Garrett and, like, Connor and, like, the one who's supposed to be Cassie, but it's legally distinct Cassie. They're, like, doing, like, space shenanigans, and then, like, Gnort is, like, leading the rest of them to the Spectre, but not like Hal Jordan the Spectre, the other one. Again, this book hates being a Green Lantern book, and I would like to stop talking about it now. So, on to books that came out that I didn't read, but I heard a lot about. Starting off with Batman 160. Again, fuck Jeff Loeb. He is another one of those cases where, like, his racism is actively still affecting the industry. Case in point, he got rehired, and so fuck him. Why the fuck did we need Hush 2? Who the fuck is asking for Hush 2? If you're asking for Hush 2, I need you to seriously reevaluate your priorities. And they had fucking Damian team up with Bane, and it's kind of actually funny, because, like, this is like the Damian that watched Bane, like, kill Alfred in front of him. Why the fuck would he be doing that? Jeff Lowe, obviously a man who has not worked in comics since, like, the 90s, early 2000s. Of course he doesn't know what the fuck's happening in current DC. But, like, Jesus Christ, no one could have given him a memo. Okay, and then next up on the list is Superman number 26. Again, continuing the Summer of Superman. So obviously in the last Superman issue, Lois Lane has now officially lost her powers, stopped being Superwoman. We all knew that was going to happen. I am glad that they're not, like, trying to, like, harp on it too much, or Lois Lane's like, oh, I want to get back into, like, you know, superheroing, like, I need my powers back. I'm glad that they know Lois is, like, happier being a reporter, and shit, this would make for some good stories is all I'm saying. It's nice to know that they're not really going back on it. Second off, it is also establishing why Lana is going to be in Midvale for the Supergirl book. I'm glad that, like, Supergirl's not existing in, like, a weird lost continuity thing where, like, she's not really, like, directly connected to the book. We see the two books kind of interconnecting a little bit more. I always appreciate that. But fucking Mary Moonlight's back. Fucking Marilyn Moonlight's back. I fucking love her. And she's gonna be fighting fucking Superman. I am buying some, like, I think I'm buying issue 28 of Superman. I'm probably gonna end up putting 27. I might have to order that soon, but, like, I'm probably gonna put 27 on my list, too. Just temporarily, so I can see Mary Moonlight. So fucking hyped that she's back. This is another case of, like, DC, please treat your minority characters better, because again, a lot of people will just instantly buy books if you just say that this character's going to be in it. Fucking love her. Her design's so sick as hell. Oh my god. Next on the list, Green Arrow number 24. The one good thing about Green Arrow issue 24, Connor Hawke's in it for, like, a panel. 2 panels. Why can't you have a book, DC? I miss him every single day. That's the most I can ever say about, like, fucking Green Arrow. I'm glad that it's going on for as long as it has been, but also at the same time, I feel like that if you can make, like, 27 different Batman books, maybe you can make, like, one other Green Arrow book. I do think that Roy and Connor teaming up, it would be super fun. That's all I'm saying. Next up is Harley Quinn issue 51. Good news is, this book didn't fall into any controversies this week, so it's probably, at least people aren't lying on Twitter about Harley Quinn again. And then next up is the last issue of the Metamorpho mini that just recently happened. So it's over. It's over. The Bad Al has one less book. I know it kind of sounds weird that I was praising, like, Mr. Terrific getting a new mini to reestablish him before the Superman movie, but I'm not doing the same for Metamorpho, and I think it's simply because, like, Mr. Terrific is a person of color at DC, and they very rarely get minis greenlit, let alone ongoings. So any push to have more diversity both behind the scenes and on paper is always a good thing in my book. Versus giving Ali Ewing a book is always bad. I don't like that man. I'm actually inclined to hate Metamorpho more because this man is writing it. I think I think the Metamorpho fans ultimately also were disappointed by this, to say the least. Unlike Mr. Terrific, which a lot of people can point at other instances of his existence, like the Terrifics, like JSA, there was another book. Unlike Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho does not have as many, like, easily recognizable and easily jump-inable appearances. So, like, to have, like, a book badly reestablish him really sucks for those fans. Also, fuck Ali Ewing. I don't like that man. Okay, and then we have Peacemaker Presents the Vigilante Eagly double feature. I've not been keeping up with this because I've been buying it a lot. But, like, I read the first issue and I was like, oh, oh, this team doesn't understand why Vigilante, like, why Adrian Chase from the show kind of worked. It's missing Freddie Stroma's, like, delivery that really, like, sells a lot of those lines, because he says it with, like, such a genuine earnesty that you're like, oh, you're just stupid. You're just fucking stupid. Okay. I like the Adrian Chase that exists in the Peacemaker show. I don't need him in the comics. It's like the thing with, like, synergy. If something works in TV, sometimes, most of the time, there is a bigger underlying reason that it works that makes it untranslatable to the comics. And then we have The Flash issue 21. Apparently this one features the return of Barry Allen. I do not care about Barry Allen, though, so I'm not, that's where my sentence ends. If you like Barry Allen, go start reading The Flash again, I guess. I didn't realize that we were 21 issues in, and, like, Barry Allen wasn't there. And now, going on to the indies. Okay, so from Image, we have a new G.I. Joe comic out right now. This is another case of when I say, like, hey, if you like a comic book writer / artist at the Big Two, go look up their name and look up what other books they're on right now. Because Joshua Williamson, who you might know from his earlier stuff on Superman, like the recent Superman run that's currently ongoing, he is currently writing the new G.I. Joe comics. So I'm probably going to go check that out in my spare time. Then from IDW, because my favorite studio. So from IDW, we have the Monster High Pride special. I've heard really good things about it. I've not sat down and read it. I think all the Monster High comics are good. But to be fair, I grew up with Monster High, so this franchise has a very special place in my heart. And then this one's not on my list, but I know it came out because I know Ryan North. Go read Shaq's Worst Day, the sequel to the award-winning Shaq's Best Day. It's part of the Star Trek Lore Wars series, which I feel like is a series specifically for my dad. The way that he consumes comic books is through me telling him about them. Not really reading them himself, mostly because he has taken the, and I quote this from my dad, he has taken the political stance of not reading for just himself. He thinks everyone else should read, but not him. Please read Shaq's Worst Day in honor of my dad, who promotes literacy for literally everyone but him. I have not read it yet because I have yet to go to my local comic book shop. I still need to film this, like, before, like, I try and go on Wednesday, but, like, with traffic and everything, I can't go on Wednesday anymore. Okay, so the big announcement for this week was, of course, we got the first Marvel, I'm gonna just call them the Big Two crossover. I'm still refusing to talk about Marvel for another year, because of the position I have in the Fantastic Four fandom, and I don't want to give any promotion to that fuck-ass movie. But the first announcement of the Big Two crossover is happening, featuring Grant Morrison and Zeb Wells, and it's Batman and Deadpool. So I'm really hoping, I get it that people want Amalgam back, I get it that people want the crossover books back. I have, like, a newspaper copy of Superman and the Fantastic Four literally right here by Dan Jurgens. Like, just sitting, it's been sitting off to the side over there for, like, a while. I have to, like, actually put this, like, in a proper, like, place to display it. But, like, I'm alright with a good crossover. I'm not, like, anti these two companies should cross over. I just think that they chose possibly the worst option and the worst writers. I know that, like, a lot of people were getting on Zeb Wells on Twitter for, like, again, what I keep on noticing is that Spider-Man fans decide to use Kamala's death as a got you for Zeb Wells without actually caring about the character, which, like, stop that. Fucking shut the fuck up, Spider-Man fans. I don't give a fuck about what you have to say. But my biggest problem was with people fucking glazing Grant Morrison, who is responsible for the incredibly racist Talia retcon, and then also glazing Frank Miller. I don't even want to get into his crimes, but I'm just gonna say the name Holy Terror, and I think people are gonna know what I'm talking about. This announcement has created the most, like, awful discourse on Twitter, and it has reminded me that, once again, like, being a brown comic book fan is, like, the comic book space is not safe for us. Because, you know, you have people glazing Grant Morrison, saying, like, oh, you know, it's fine that he wrote this racist story in 2008. Because, you know, older comics have weird stuff all the time. And I'm like, there's a big difference between, my example, of course, is a Wyatt Wingfoot related one. But there's, like, a big difference of, like, Lee Kirby, like, saying that Wyatt was from an Indian boarding school. Because at the time, in the 60s, it had not been really, like, publicly well known, the crimes of those schools. And also, at the time, having a well-educated Native man was progressive. But by our modern standards, it's no longer progressive. There's a very big difference between that and Grant Morrison deciding not to do any research and just making a wildly racist claims about the Al Ghuls because it's post 9/11. There's a very big difference between those two. I call the first one, like, accidental progressivism. I'm using that phrase a lot when I'm working on the Wyatt Wingfoot video essay, where, like, yeah, it is questionable by today's standards, and honestly, I don't think the writers were thinking that much about it, but you are kind of accidentally being progressive for the time being. Versus, like, this is just post 9/11 racism. You guys are just defending post 9/11 racism. I don't know why we keep on falling back into this. Like the Grant Morrison praise and then what the fucking X-Office is doing to Kamala right now, I feel like I'm going insane. Why do you people hate Muslims so bad? So, if you were wondering, hey Ash, are you actually gonna talk about the Marvel and DC crossover? Because, like, I have established I'm not going to talk about Marvel until after Fantastic Four is in theaters, and quite frankly, I don't even know if I'm going to be talking about Marvel as a whole, or if I'm just going to be talking about specifically the books that Ryan North is working on. And if you're wondering, am I going to talk about this fucking crossover? No! This book is literally everything I hate in comic book spaces. The overglazing of Deadpool, where, like, for some reason he's considered one of the big faces of Marvel Comics. He's not. He's not on Batman's level. Why the fuck is he here? Batman's in it. I don't like Batman. Grant Morrison's writing. I don't like Grant Morrison. Fucking Zeb Wells is on the book. I don't like Zeb Wells. I think that the only good thing about this book is Dan Mora's art. And even then, I can get Dan Mora's art fucking everywhere. He's on every book. He's fucking everywhere. Why the fuck? I hate this. I hate being a comic book fan sometimes. But yeah, fuck Grant Morrison, fuck Frank Miller. That is also the weird thing about Frank Miller. Like, I don't think people realize that, like, a lot of his books, like, even, like, the good ones, have, like, weirdly, like, disgusting undertones in it. I'm done talking now. Up here is going to be your next recommended video is an episode of Ash and Their Fantastic Friends, my live show I do every Saturday, 9 p.m. EST. Is another episode of Last Week in Comics. Is it something I haven't published yet? I don't know. Is it a YouTube short? I don't know. They don't tell me these things. Down here is the rest of the playlist of Last Week in Comics. I've been doing this for a while, like November 2024. So if you want to just currently be picking up, like, single issues, I probably have at least a partial review of whatever book you're trying to pick up the single issues from. Go check that out down here. And then over here is the nice subscribe button. I do have more video ideas coming out. I'm still in the middle of bagging up comics. I had to order more bags and boards, and, like, the economy's in shambles right now, so it's, like, impossible. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, comic book bagging companies. Stop making them fucking 7 inches in width. Stop making them 7 inches in width. You make your boards 3 3/4. Why does the bag have to be 7 inches? Make it fucking make sense. Keep your modern size bags at, like, 6 7/8. I mean, I'm so tired of having to, like, special order these because everything, like, every piece of my collection is in 6 7/8, and then all of a sudden, my main one that I was buying changed sizes for no reason whatsoever. And I was like, God damn it. If you want to hear the rest of that rant, you should subscribe. I'm gonna be doing videos about, like, how to collect physical copies of comics. I'm also gonna be doing, of course, I've been glazing the fucking White Wingfoot video essay for, like, over a year now. It's still coming. I gotta get back on working on it. I have so many ideas, but then so little time to sit down and write them. But that's gonna be coming up in, like, not that long, actually. Ooh. Of course, continuing Last Week in Comics, my live show, you know, what have you. And then also, if you have video requests, I have a Ko-fi down there. You can pay me $5 and I will make a video about something. I mean, specify if you want, like, a TikTok or if you want a YouTube video, but, like, literally just give me $5 and you give me $5, I will talk about whatever Batman book you want me to talk about. That's all I'm saying. But I don't think you want me to talk about Batman because I hate that man. And cut.